Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Steve from Natural Selection Angling, and I got a really cool video for you today. First, you're going to need these Kastmasters or any spoon of your choice with a glow base on them. You can watch this video right here to learn how to put the glow base on. We're going to use these pigments, and we're going to use 2-part epoxy resin mixed with these pigments to stylize these baits with no paint and no equipment. You guys have been asking me a lot of questions about how to do some of this work without having things like an airbrush. And this is a way to do it. So first you can set up your glow base. That doesn't require any special equipment. Once you have that done, then you can skip ahead to this part and you can see how to mix these pigments into your epoxy and work with this type of material. One thing I noticed during this project is I had a tendency to use probably 2 to 5 times as much pigment as is required to do the job. It just seems like you need more, but you don't really. So when you're looking at these piles of pigment here, there's way too much there. You don't need that much. So I have my 2-part epoxy mixed up, and I'm just going to take a drop of epoxy and I'm going to mix it in with each color. And it can be a little bit difficult. The epoxy likes to reject things, and this dry powder is no different. So you have to really kind of vigorously mix it together to get it to stay in suspension. And that's what this is. Remember, it's not a solvent and a solute. It's just in suspension. You want to have a nice even mix. Now we're going to take these 2 spoons and we're going to do a very classic Great Lakes trout and salmon pattern called Wonderbread. Hence we have the blue, the fluorescent pink, and the fluorescent yellow. I'm just going to go ahead and start with this blue. And it doesn't matter which one you use first or what order you put them in, but I'm going to match this pattern to a pattern I painted previously in another video with an airbrush. And so we can compare those and how they look, and the pattern will be the same. Just keep in mind that you don't want to warm the epoxy. You want to let it stay cool because you want it to dome up and stay in place. You do not want it to run away. And if you're on a surface that isn't level, like the top side of this Kastmaster spoon, it's going to want to run away. But if you keep it cool and keep it viscous, the surface tension will just hold a nice round dome. And that's what it looks like. So 6 hours later, I came back and I put a clear coat over top, and you can watch this video how to do the perfect clear coat, but you can see how nice these came up. When you hit them with the UV light, this is where the magic happens, because this is what the fish sees. They can see in the UV spectrum. And what's really cool about using these fluorescent colors is when the glow base lights up, it actually makes that fluorescent color fluoresce as well. And the result is very sexy. Isn't that pretty cool? And this is the difference between them. And you can see they both look great, but they look very different. The one that's done with the epoxy resin is much more vibrant. Now we're going to move on and do some pink. This is a really nice color. And as the video goes on, you're going to start to see some subtle differences in how the colors work with the glow base color. So if you're putting this pink on top of a green base, when it glows, it's going to look different than on top of a blue base. So you keep that in mind when you're thinking about how you want to paint these baits. And then I'm going to show you a little bit later on the opposite of that, how you can choose colors that look very vibrant in daylight, but almost disappear when it's glowing. So this is the UV resin, and we're going to have instant gratification here, which is, one of the great things about using UV resin. But I'll caution you that it's definitely not as durable as a 2-part epoxy, and I would never use it for anything except for decorative. I wouldn't use it for a glow base, and I wouldn't use it for a top coat. And what I'm going to do with these baits is I'm going to come back and top coat them with a 2-part epoxy. Looking good so far though. The one all the way on the left in the bottom left corner, that was an experiment, and I used an orange dye to dye the glow base, and it came out kind of brownish, so I didn't like it. It's no good. Don't do that. Or if you do, use a color like canary yellow. That'll come out much more vibrant looking. I love this orange color. I do a lot of baits with orange. This is known in the fishery where I fish to be a great color for steelheads. Amazing color for salmon and trout. And so I make a lot of stuff in orange, and I make a lot of stuff in pink. And of course, you know, green, that is money. As one of my friends likes to say, if it ain't chartreuse, it's of no use. So those are the colors I make a lot of baits. Man, it just looks so good. It's so easy too. And inexpensive. This is a very cheap way to do this. And there it is. Instant gratification. And it looked cool, man. This one's going to be orange over blue. And I don't know if you guys can tell from watching, but I've just seen these blue and green bases so many times I can tell them apart by looking. There is a slight difference in the shade. One is going to hew a little bit towards the blue side, and the other one's going to hew a little bit towards the green side. And if you look close, you can tell. What I was doing there is just popping a bubble. Now, you see how this looks different? You'll see when they're side by side. Over the blue, this orange gets very yellow. And over the green, it gets much deeper orange. But isn't that cool? So easy. Just remember though, you know, this is instant gratification, yes. And it's fast and easy, yes. But just remember, it's as a solution, it's not as durable as a 2-part epoxy. Anything that's that quick and easy just isn't gonna have staying power, man. By the time I reached the green one, I finally had a handle on really how much pigment is needed, and I still used probably a little bit too much. But if you put a blob of resin down and you just shake out enough pigment to cover the surface of the resin, that's going to be enough. This is a really nice color too. These pigments really pop, and they come in all different types of colors. I happen to be doing some fluorescent ones here, but you can get them in any color. So I've demonstrated this dotting technique in other videos. The best way to do this is not to touch the tool to the surface. It's just to come close and let the surface pull a nice round dot off of the tool. If you push down and make contact with the surface, two things can happen. You can make a less than round circle that'll look a little funny, and you can introduce air bubbles too. So, you know, of course, it's impossible to be perfectly accurate within, you know, a couple of microns, but just do your best to try to touch the drop of material to the surface and not the metal part of the tool. You'll just get a better result. Now look, when I hit this with the UV light, what happens to the dots? They basically disappear. That's green on green. You can use that to your advantage too when you're making a pattern, if you want it to look one way in the light and another way in the dark. Pretty good, man. So we'll just come back and we'll put a clear coat over top of these to bring up that luster. And just look at these things. They're amazing. And with some incidental UV light, just look how they fluoresce. And a little stronger UV light, look at the difference in the colors based on the glow base. And these things just shine. But you can see that the pigment color changes based on the glow base. And that's cool to play with. I hope you got some value out of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was really cool to make, and the end result is really neat too. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything cool that's coming up, like contract killer custom fishing lures. Alright guys, until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.